I'm the one woman army. I'm only the director, editor, the choreographer, videographer, makeup artist, stylist, everything all in one.
And few tips to all the content creators, aspiring content creators, that these are few things you're supposed to do and you'll be set.
Don't take comments to heart. Be really mindful of what you do. So you have to be your own cheerleader is another advice I want to give. Right now I'm in a place where I have a roof over my head. I'm the landlord. I can do anything I want to in that house.
Pickright really also is struggling to make everyone become financially independent. Anyone who has just 20,000, 30,000 can also start investing and can create or generate wealth. That's very important, knowing what is your risk,
yes,
and where are your assets.
I know my limits.
Exactly, right? What is that you can stretch and where
yes,
you should put a stop.
Love yourself. Be happy with whatever you have in your life. That I had to switch off a ventilator of a lady who gave birth to me.
Hi everyone, we have Deena Pinto, also known as Skinny Girl Diaries, as you all know her. Welcome to another episode of You, Me and Finance, Deena.
Thank you for having me over.
We are very glad to have you and very interested, looking forward to this podcast.
Well, likewise.
So as not many know that, you've studied, you have a major in economics and finance.
Yes.
And you worked for Goldman Sachs.
Yes.
For almost 6 years.
Yes.
How did you get into the whole content creation journey?
Well, it began sort of like, I think when I joined Goldman's around 2006 or 7, around that time, that era, it was like a fortunate thing because I was also semi-new to Bangalore, and everybody would request, there would be like all these expats coming in, and everybody was like, where do we go? What do we eat? Where do we shop? And stuff like that. So people would come and be intrigued because I lived in the UK for a while, and then the same kind of people came here to transition the process. Yes. So I took it upon myself to kind of, find places where we can go and hang out, and thus began the journey. So I started Bangalore Sunday Brunch Club, where it was the CEO, CXO level, just coming in, dining in. We used to have like crazy fun, pub hopping, back then that was a culture in Bangalore as well. And so then it took on a different stride, is because I think we had social media just come in at that point with Facebook and Instagram in 2012. So I kind of immediately joined these places, and people would reach out to me on LinkedIn saying, hey, listen, I'm a single girl, or I'm coming from this company to Bangalore. I'm going to be there for a while. Where do I go? Where do I shop? So I became this sort of like a tour guide or a guide of sorts, where I would arrange these events, or even take them to Mysore Palace for that matter, or some wine tasting. And so there it began slowly, and then it sort of like trickled. So that's why the lifestyle part already set in, and I would post stuff like about people started inviting me for good staycations because they were these people who wanted to go for a weekend getaway. So that's how it began, So, and I had a blog called skinnygirldiaries.com, okay, and it's still there. Unfortunately, I haven't written for the last 2 years. I think I need to go back, but it's still valid. I'm still paying heavy duty for that part of the website. But nonetheless, then, Instagram took off in a different model and zone. And then I also had TikTok. I had Facebook also, which was still happening. Right. So slowly it trickled in. And then from there, it just took on into fashion, into beauty. And it became an entire lifestyle gamut,
Right.
So that's how it began. And lo and behold, I'm still doing it, I think, after all these years.
So how did you, what would you do? Would you vlog these experiences and then put it on Instagram, or how exactly did it become into a full-fledged content creation?
Yeah, so I was quite intrigued because TikTok was something that was already, I think back then it was called Musical.ly.
Right.
So there was music-based short videos that were happening, and I could notice that it was taking traction. So I'd create these mini short videos of me somewhere at the beach in Goa or something, and add the music, edit it quickly on a certain app, and then, then I would post it on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, or vice versa. And so it just began slowly, and then sometimes there were mini vlogs. And now you have reels, so it is not something like new concept. It's already been existing. Only thing is become a more polished version. So even as I look back on my previous videos, I'll be like cringe. I'll be like, oh my God, what was I creating? But back then we had that type of phones, and that was the output that we would get, irrespective of where we were. I think over the years I've got the experience of the angles, the lights, and everything, and I still create it in the same way. Like I still record it on my own. I'm the one woman army. I'm only the director, editor, the choreographer, videographer, makeup artist, stylist. Everything everything all in one. And I think it comes easy and naturally for me now that I go to a venue, I do the research, a recon, and then I quickly know exactly what I want to grab within the 30-40 seconds, and I create the content. I edit it myself also.
Oh, nice. So, when you started content creation, were you also working side by side, or how did you manage finance?
Oh, yes. I was still working with Goldman Sachs at that point. So that was like a bigger part. But unfortunately, I got a very crazy illness in 2011. I was diagnosed with a very rare eye disease called superficial keratitis, where you're blind for about, semi-blind for about, for about 6 to 7 months. I was blind, so I was literally at home. I was still under the payroll of Goldman Sachs, and then at the same time, when the eyesight started trickling to come back, at that point I couldn't do anything. I was just home, at home trying to recover because I couldn't see anything. And I just bought an apartment also, so I had put my entire saving down payment onto that. It was like really hectic, and then I got diagnosed with the ovarian tumor. So that backfired. I had to get a major surgery, and then from there on, then I had to rethink what am I doing, because it was getting a bit too much. I mean, Goldman's was like, are you working? You're not working. Should we still keep you on the payroll and stuff like that? And then I already had my content creation where I had staycations and places were inviting me, and they were paying really good. Back in the day, so it was really cool. So then I slowly transitioned. I was also working after I quit Goldman's. I started working with a bunch of startups, and that was where they used to call me the matchmaker. So I had some small jobs that kept me going, and then finally I took a step and said, nothing doing. I think 2016 I went full-fledged, doing it full time. Then it's still full time.
Yeah. And how exactly did you find, so you found your niche because you were already into this.
Yeah.
And that's just organic from your side. Deena, I would love to know, so now we have a lot of people who want to get into content creation.
Yes.
But it's not that easy. It's not all glamour and glitter, and it's not a cakewalk.
Yeah.
So if you would let us know how exactly, you got into brand promotions, or how exactly do you monetize these things?
I think first thing is we usually wait for PRs to get in touch with us, and I think you have to have your entire networking in one go. That never came easy for me. So you have to understand, before I started doing this, I was already going door to door, knocking onto different places, brands, and saying like, this is me, this is who I am. I had a little bio, or they call it a media kit, where I had certain things like I'd done and done and dusted. Slowly brands started coming in. They're like giving it to me barter. Not everything is paid. Even now, after all these years, about 11-12 years, I still take up barter because I see what is the value in it for me. If it's like a really expensive dress, I would still take it because it's something that I like and I can still wear it. So you have to kind of understand the pros and the cons. And I think the new age or the Gen Zs are very eager, and they're thinking that they already have arrived. They don't see it how I got from point A to point B or the next level. For them, it's like they start and they directly want to hit that level. I think that's where it's going wrong, and I think they're burning themselves out. They're not taking that place to understand, is it for them, is it not for them. Some of them I think come from really good backgrounds, so they have the family who's like, backup and all. They'll set up the entire studio, they get into it, and they're like, okay, next is what, how do I get the brand campaigns? Because brands will look at the prospect of, are you like worthy, like why should we give you even a dress for free or a lipstick, stuff like that. Like what's in it for them and what's in it for you also. Are you capable of even creating that content? Do you have the confidence? All those things are seen, but right now I think it's become an entire different ball game, because everybody who has a smartphone is a content creator. I think you would you go to a restaurant now and you will see anybody, even your dad, or somebody's clicking and posting on Instagram. So it's a different feel now. So in order for you to stand out, you have to understand what it is. Do you really want to do this full time? And I would say look at it on the long run. Like when I took this position, I knew from the start that I'm going to do this for a living. That's the reason I even bought the website called skinnygirldiaries.com before anyone could take it. I knew that this was going to be my brand name. Skinny, I still get a lot of hate because of cancel culture. I'll give a little gist of that. It's because I was skinny all these years. People made fun of me and I used to hate it, Now people are like, oh, they want to be like me. But back then it was like, they would make fun of me like, oh, you're so skinny, where are you flying and all. So I took that negative connotation and I made it into something more positive to see, okay, this skinny girl is going to go places. She's going to share her story and make it work, and and so far, yeah, so good. So my advice is to kids or like anybody starting off, like have a plan. Like anything, you know, you had at least have to have like a certain future forecast where it is that you want to go with this. You know, if you plan to do this full time, I would say still continue working, see how it is, because not everything you get paid for. Yeah, you can't just jump the gun. You know, I've seen a lot of people take a massive plunge saying, I'm taking this is what Deena is doing is beautiful. She's going to fancy staycations, fancy places. I'm also going to do this full time, so it doesn't hamper. But then over the period, they're like, okay, there's nothing coming in. How does she manage?
Right.
But you have to understand, it's all about the networking. It's the PR. I reach out to people even now. I'm still, you know, sending out emails, DMing people saying, this is who I am, this is what I do. Maybe we could align it some way. Maybe sometimes I get a no, but at least I tried.
Right.
Yeah, that is the way. Yeah.
So Deena, just wanted to know about your favorite milestone. I'm sure you've had a lot. I've seen pictures with really big celebrities, you know, Ranveer Brar and many.
Yes.
But just want to know your favorite milestone and why did it matter to you?
I think for me, joining, I mean, back then, it was a big thing. Even today, I just posted a story. I think getting the blue tick or the verification was biggest milestone. Right now, I know it doesn't hold value, but back then, just to be known and be certified that you're a mini celeb or an influencer, you know, it meant a lot, especially when you're working for all these years. You've been on social media for a long time. And I'm on every platform. I also tell people, don't stick to only one platform. You know, diversify, be it on Facebook, Insta, because there are different age groups. People are on different platforms. There's Pinterest. I post everywhere. You know, there's something called Moj, which is the Indian TikTok. So there I'm almost close to over 800 million people there. And then so a bunch of things, and then you have to kind of reach out. And then I think the biggest thing was getting the blue tick in 2021 on this month. 3 years ago, I got it on Facebook. I remember I was crying. I think it was happy tears.
Right.
Tears of joy that I made it, I've arrived, you know, but now I know it doesn't hold that much, but back then that was my biggest thing. And then 2003 in Feb, I got it on Instagram also. So it was like I came full circle.
Yeah.
You know, so that was one. And then I think during 2017, I was invited by Vivo to walk the Star Awards in Bombay, the red carpet. And then there was the whole gamut of Sri Devi to, you know, Shah Rukh Khan to, you know, people were there, and me, little old me, you know, I'm also walking the red carpet and stuff like that. So it was really fantastic. Yeah. So there are a lot more. I think one thing I'm just very glad and full of gratitude that I'm still here. Right. I know my biggest milestone, I think I still count my blessings every day that I'm still doing what I love and I'm still here.
So finally, if you have to give a few tips to all the content creators, aspiring content creators, that these are few things you're supposed to do and you'll be set.
Yeah, I think first and foremost is understand what is it that you want to do. Discover a niche. Now I know for me it's a lifestyle. It looks like I'm covering everything, but then it's again more standardized. Is because I started off with the brunches, and then F&B fell in place, and then staycations fell in place, and then people were like, oh, Deena needs some beautiful clothes because she's going to these beautiful fancy places. She might need some good makeup, you know. So then it became a culmination of everything. But not everybody's cut out to do everything, because you have to understand, you have to study, you have to really work at it. You can't just riff-raff and say, hey, listen, I'm a lifestyle blogger. But okay, as a lifestyle, what is it that you're conveying? What do you have that certain lifestyle to showcase to your followers? Because I think when you're a little fake also, they can see it.
Yeah.
You know, it has to have value. Even anyone, you can maybe sort of like forge the numbers and somewhere get there by the blue tick. But at the end of the day, if you're not very real to yourself, you will only burn out because you're acting as someone else. You know,
you can't pretend for
long. It'll burn you out. It'll exhaust you. You'll get really frustrated. You know, I think you have to have your head on your shoulders for this. You have to have really thick skin, because you will have all sorts of people who will suddenly comment nasty things. I've had things like, oh, you're black, or you fix your face, fix your teeth, fix your smile. I'm actually fixing my smile now, but it's a different thing. Maybe gain some weight, or why you call skinny, you're still skinny, you know, like all those things. So have a very, very thick skin. Don't take comments to heart. There'll be some stalkers along the way also. I've had I had recently again one, so that's the reason I'm a little offline, but be really mindful of what you do.
Right.
And then another piece of advice I'll say is like figure out what is it that you are trying to put on social media. Some people think they want to have a really beautiful grid. but you're
But no
beautiful.
value.
There's no value because your life is not going to go as planned.
Right.
So have a backup. Like, what is it next? What's next? Okay, the beauty is not working for you. You're not cut out for beauty. And by chance, I've done beauty, and it's it looks easy and beautiful when you're looking at all these girls putting lipstick, eyeliner. But for that one, like, you get 4 lipsticks, you have to do 4 swatches.
Yeah.
You have to put and remove, and your lips actually, get torn and tattered and burn.
Right.
Or even the eye makeup you're putting and removing. Behind the scenes, nobody sees that.
Right. There's a lot of hard
There's a
work.
lot of hard work that goes in. You're sitting in front of light, and even if you're really sad inside, like I lost my parents. I remember I was always feeling very low inside, but I was like, Deena, that shouldn't come out. You should. There I was pretending maybe to be happy, but then the end of the day, it became a practice and a habit. I kept saying, no pity party. I'm here for a reason. This is what I want to do. I can't back out now because I'm my sole breadwinner. If I give up on myself, or I don't pat my own back, there's nobody who's going to clap for me also,
Right.
So you have to be your own cheerleader is another advice I want to give.
Thank you so much, Deena. I think this was a very interesting, very informative
Oh, you're
podcast.
welcome. You're welcome.
Love having you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
you.
Thank you for coming for You, Me and Finance.
Thank you for having me.
You look stunning.
Oh, thank you. I tried.
And I really like your pearls and amazing. You carry yourself very well.
Thank you.
And definitely you have a very infectious energy, and I hope we will know more about it. And how did you get to this point? And I'm sure my colleague Aishwarya definitely spoke to you about
Yes.
these things, and which we'll hear. And I'm not really sure whether you know what Pickright is about.
No.
Yeah, so Pickright is a wealth tech company where we have SEBI registered analysts and advisors
Okay.
who actually give invest packs, which
Alright.
are like managed equity baskets,
Okay.
where with a single click you can actually start investing. You need to have a broking account,
Okay.
but these packs will be managed by the advisors.
All right.
So it is like your PMS, where you don't need to have anything above 50 lakhs, but anyone who has just 20,000, 30,000 can also start investing
Okay.
and can create or generate wealth. So the whole vision of Pickright is to make finance which is reachable to retail, to you and
Okay.
me, to people like us
Okay.
who can actually start investing and generate wealth.
All right.
Because earlier, if we see, right, wealth is something, the minute we see wealth, we see that it is only for the rich.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
why I'm just drawing an analogy, right? Earlier, who can be a celebrity is someone who only acts in a
Acts in a
movies
movie.
or even sings, or who has a decent, who is unattainable. Like
Exactly.
you need to, right?
Yeah.
Like today, you have actually shown what a celebrity, what somebody can get into that status,
Yeah.
right? Like you and me, any commoner,
Anyone can,
right?
yeah.
And that's amazing, and
Yes.
that's what how you actually proved yourself. Pickright really also is struggling to make everyone become financially independent. So that's
Okay.
what we are trying to do in this.
Oh, I'm really glad, because I think one thing that people assume, that they think that once they start working, everything's going to come easy. But I think that's something that schools also don't teach us, like what is the basics
I
that you
agree.
need. Your savings is there on one side, but you also need to enjoy your lifestyle, because your youth is something that is not going to stay forever. Money you can accumulate, because I think in India what's happening is we are taught from a very early age, you need to work, you need to earn, and you need to save. But here for me, I think I took a big turn, and I think for me, losing my parents again brought a different step. But then I kind of grew up in a place where we were not so financially well off. I mean, even though I was born and raised in Dubai, I had never come to India because we couldn't afford to come. And then I learned it from seeing it the hard way. Like, my father was struggling, my mother also was struggling to work and earn and make sure that we get the graduation and we get a good life. And then I kind of took it upon myself, saying, I'm going to get out of that rut. I'm not going to do what they're doing. But I think I got also easily sucked in. But again, as I started working, I started looking at what are the investments out there. Like, you can start off as easily with mutual funds and stuff, but I think many people are not willing to take the risk. They are not so well educated with finance per se to even put. They think savings is or fixed deposits is the only way, or insurance is the only way. But there are so many other means where you can have your money
Exactly.
grow.
Yeah.
Why should you work? Make your money work for you as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the notion that people still have even now and then. Now you've got Bitcoin. Now there are so many ways to make money, but I think still it's there inside the head that, oh, I need to invest and put it in fixed deposits. I'm going to get good returns. I need to buy a house. I need to buy a car. And then, you have to understand where is it that you're going to draw the line, because now you can get a loan easily. Back then, it was not so easy.
Yeah, no, so that's where I want to touch upon, right? Loan. When you rightly said in school, we were only taught about how do you pay the loan interest, a simple interest and compound interest, right? Nobody has taught us on how you can actually, money can make money for you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And you said that, taking back what you said, taking to the point what you said, if you said you purchased a house very early on, so do you regret that decision, buying a house?
No, I think that's the best thing I ever did. I know I'm still paying my EMI.
Yeah, wasn't it a burden for you?
No, I actually saved up a lot of my income. I mean, I did travel and stuff like that, but then I was working also in a good position. I was in a good position. I tried not to go out so much. I was not into heavy shopping, not wasting my money that way.
So you think it is worth buying a house?
Yes, I think it's very, because see, right now I'm in a place where I have a roof over my head. I'm the landlord. I'm only my own tenant. I can be anything, I can do anything I want to in that house.
But if you see many fin influencers, right? Like if I open Insta,
they say don't buy.
They say don't buy a house.
No,
you cannot buy a house, and they do all the math. Like you buy a house, your rent is, you just get rental yield which is less than 4%. Whereas if you put in equity, you get 12. If you put somewhere else, it is 15-20%.
Yeah.
So what do you?
I did both. I'm still doing both. I mean, why not do both? See, the thing is, for me, I think I have an upper hand now, but there's an appreciation that happens with land or property. Unlike I don't have a car because it's always depreciating value. I've always understood what is a liability versus what is an asset. That is something that I took from my school days, and I'm using it, and I think that's the reason I'm still here. Maybe I'm not getting lakhs and millions or whatever, but I'm there.
But you're pretty much balanced,
I'm pretty much
right?
balanced.
So I think that's very important, knowing what is your risk and where are your assets.
I know my limits.
Exactly, right? What is that you can stretch and where you should put a stop.
Yeah.
I think that's very important for every person.
Every person.
And every person's net worth is different. But every person's level of comfort staying well is a need which is common to everyone.
Exactly. I'm not saying don't invest in having a good sofa or a good washing machine or a good TV.
Because that's for you.
That's for you. That's for your house. That's for you. So you have to understand what is it is going to add value.
Do you need a very expensive vacation?
Do you need an iPhone 16? No, I don't think so. Are you a good photographer? You can manage with the normal phone. See, I have an iPhone 13. I do everything on that. Do I need a 16? I mean, I'm in the space where I could use a 16.
Exactly.
But the thing is, I know exactly how a smartphone works. Irrespective of give me an old phone also, I will make sure that I click the best quality because I studied lighting.
That's need and want.
Exactly.
Right? You need to really understand what you need, what you want,
Yeah.
and that is where actually the fine line draws. And that is where you can actually manage your assets, manage your liabilities, and have a better life.
Yeah, and I think you have to also understand from a very early age when you start earning and you're saving, you have to understand what is your credit score. And you have to maintain that credit score, at least up to above 700-800 is, they say it's good, excellent. I always, every month, I sit and see where my credit score is, The minute it falls like under 800, I start panicking, Maybe sometimes people don't understand that you have a bunch of credit cards. They take so many credit cards. They take everything on credit and they forget to make that payment. So I do use credit cards. I will see where it is adding value, like how much cashback am I getting? Can I buy something else, am I getting extra point? I use it as air miles or maybe staying in a hotel. Like I said, it's like, why should you make your money work for you? And I think even a credit card, I own a few, it should work for you. I get so much out of my credit card and I keep watching it. I mean, I buy the best of clothes. I'm not going to go and buy a luxury item right now because I will think to myself, okay, if I can buy a Michael Kors bag, for example. I know a lot of girls are thinking that they want that high value item. But how many times can you carry it? And especially in a city like this, And
exactly, right? Whenever I see a branded item, I say, if I buy that, how many eyes are going to see it and how many eyes are going to
Or
recognize
how many
it.
times am I going to use it? For me, it's like even if I buy this shirt or this, now I bought this outfit that I'm wearing. For me, I know I can repurpose it so many times. So it's going to be value. It's a little expensive, but I buy from it.
Everything, whatever we do,
Yeah.
we need to actually measure the utility.
Exactly.
Once you know the utility of the item,
Yes.
it is okay to spend that worth.
Yeah.
If not, we need to just do
The same with the house. See, now I have that apartment. Now, when I bought it in 2011, people made fun of me. Oh, you've gone to Electronic City. It's a swamp. It was a swamp. And then me and my sister, we were like, oh, should we buy? I mean, unfortunately, my parents couldn't see. Even they were like thrilled, at that point. They were like, but why you went so far? And now see, that place is booming. There's no space. Every second day I get a call saying, are you renting it out? I'm ready to buy. Are you willing to sell? And maybe I could sell after once I'm done with my EMI. You never know. For my old age, I can even sell it and use some of that money, and then I know I have to reinvest somewhere because that's how
exactly,
property
right.
amount is.
Tomorrow is another day.
It's another day.
Who
And if I
knows?
want, I can be. Now, the thing is, I know the value. I don't know if I can say it, but it's definitely gone into the high value, into crores. It's definitely gone there, So now who's laughing last? I'm the one who's having the last laugh. My friends are like, oh.
You did a good job.
I did a good job.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still paying the EMIs, but it's the same as paying rent.
But it is worth the.
It's worth.
It's worth the time you're spending there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've got a one where I've got a tenant and the EMI is self taken care of. So I'm not worried the EMI is coming, EMI is paid for because the rent is also coming and it's taken care of. So that is, it's there. I know it's there, and if I want to sell it at some point, I can still make
Yeah.
some money.
No, so this brings a very good perspective on long-term investing, right?
Yes.
See, that is where it is, right? Like once you invest, you need to actually hold on to it. You
Yeah.
need to really see the cycles. So that
Yes.
is where you see it hitting the higher limit, upper
Yeah.
limit.
Yeah.
So it's very important for investors. That's what even we always say, that be always into long-term perspective.
Exactly.
That is where you will be reaping the benefits.
Yeah, I think for everything it holds true, right? I mean, even in content creation, people look at it as a short-term thing. But for me, when I started, I already knew that I'm going to do this long-term. I had a vision, I had the passion, and that's the reason I even started the name. I bought the website because I knew I was going in it for a long run. It was not a short-term phase, When I started up, people did make fun, like, oh my God, what is she doing? What is this influencing business? Where's the income coming from? I'm single, I'm never married, like my parents also passed away, so who's going to fund it? And I kept telling people, I think it's none of your business. You pay your bills, I will pay mine. If you're paying my bills, then maybe you should have a interest in my business, but it's my thing. I'm taking care of it myself, and I think I understand. I even do my own taxes also.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that I was actually, when you were talking about liabilities and assets, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask this. You are from a finance background.
Yes.
Right? You do your taxes.
Yes.
You know what you're doing.
Yes.
And definitely you're successful in whatever you
Yes.
have done so far, be it
Yeah.
in content creation, creating assets for yourself. Right?
Yeah.
What do you think, or what do you suggest, or what do you advise people who are in your career, or even women in general? What do they need to know about their financials, and what do you think they should be looking out for?
That's a good one. I think ever since we're kids, we are taught as women that, you grow up, don't overburden yourself, because you're going to get married into a nice house, get married to a rich man, rich family, and you're sorted. That was back in the day, and I think it's still there at the back of the head. I know a lot of girls.
Reality.
It's not the reality. I know a lot. In school, I used to sit there and I used to think I want to be like working at a financial institution, and there were some girls in my same level at the class, and now some of them are divorced and stuff, but they're like they should be in class saying, I want to get married to a rich man. I don't want to work. I want to go for kitty parties, and now they're like in their 40s and they're like, oh, I have to go back to work. But the thing is, there's been a massive gap. They're having kids. So the financial stability is not there in their hands. I think that's the biggest mistake anybody, even for a man, irrespective, maybe they're relying on their rich parents and they're thinking they can take it easy. But you have to understand, you have to make it work for yourself. You have to understand how it works, where should you invest. Don't keep your money in the bank. I would never suggest keep everything in the savings, because you know how it works, and don't keep everything under your bed also.
You need to be diversified.
Diversified,
right?
yeah.
You need to have something in your real estate,
Yeah.
then in equity, mutual
Exactly.
funds, and other areas, right?
And people, I think they misconstrue thinking that everything is easy. Mostly, I think what people make another big mistake is going for insurance. I don't know what is with this Indian mentality that insurance is insuring your life. But at the end of the day, you're putting all that money aside, not for you, for someone else.
Yeah, no, so insurance does help.
It does help, yeah.
If
If
you
you've got
have
a family, yeah.
to take care.
But
But otherwise, as an
yeah, but
instrument of investment,
No.
the
I
insurance
wouldn't
doesn't-
suggest
yeah.
going solely for that, because I know a lot of even the men, they're working there, the word, so, and they're like not even taking time for themselves. They've just let go thinking that my kid, I never had it, my kid, and I remember seeing my parents do the same thing. And I think that's where you have to figure out where you have to draw the line. You have to understand that you are also a human being. You also need some time off. You also need to go on a holiday once a year, and for that it's quite easy. Like I said, use your credit card also to work for you. When you're shopping, you're going to buy that iPhone, you get those massive points. Put it to use later on.
No, definitely, right? So one thing, right? When you said you did all alone by yourself, right? You're your biggest cheerleader, right?
Yes.
And kudos to you for
Why, thank
doing that.
you.
It's not easy for
No.
anyone, not even for man, woman, anyone, right?
Anyone.
Any individual to do everything on their own and to achieve or to see your 125k subscribers. It's really not easy.
Yeah.
And in this competitive world and the space where you are in, right? It is completely filled with competition. Everyone is a content creator.
Everyone. I think even you just can take a picture, post on Instagram, and you're a content creator.
Fortunately, I'm actually not into it.
But it's that easy.
It's that easy, right? So, but how this being single, did it help to reach you this place where you are in? Or would you have preferred you had somebody supported you all the way? So if you can, answer it.
No, I'm definitely, I think I'm right now I can feel the burden, because I know a lot of girls have gone up before me. They've gone way ahead of me and they earn really well as well. It's because of the fact they either got married and their husband supported them, or their father supported them, or someone, they have some support.
Some ecosystem,
like they go, ecosystem.
Created.
Somebody else is shooting for them. So it's easy, they're going for dinner together and there's somebody's clicking. But for me, it's like, as a solo person, I go there and I'm only clicking. And there have been times where I'm like just stuck at events and all, and I can see people are clicking with each other. Then I have to ask like the staff or someone like that. But then I think I also have made it a point that I can take it on my own. So I'm pretty good at taking my own images. But there is something in me, sometimes when I see it, I'm only human, Oh, I wish somebody was clicking my, I also had a husband to click. I need a boyfriend only to click. Like my pune, he'll come behind me. So sometimes I make fun of these girls and guys also. You have like a partner because you're just like one maid or servant running after to click pictures. And so there I'm not using and abusing anyone, but I think, that I wish sometimes it was there. But at the end of the day, I also know that I've seen sometimes like when taking food pictures, I've taken friends with me also. And I'm trying to take a picture and they're like, I'm hungry, I'm starving, can we eat now? And I said, but I've come here for work. You come with me, so relax. And so, we just wait. I don't want to babysit guys or girls or anyone, for that matter. So I prefer going alone.
Okay. Yeah, and coming to your line of work, right?
Yeah.
What type of work do you do? Like, is it fashion influencing? Do you do, what are the other, is it lifestyle?
Yes.
What else do you do?
To earn, I try to see how I can best get some good brand campaigns. I'm always pitching myself, I'm my own PR.
Any brand you do?
Any brand, but if it's relatable, like somebody comes to me with a fairness cream because I'm brown skin and I've been very advocate, I will not touch it. If anybody says brightening, lightening, I will not do that, or anything that goes against my morals and values, I will prefer not to, because I have a little standard. I'm promoting
your ethics.
My ethic. My brown skin is like main thing. I think ever since I was a kid, people have called me a certain skin color, and right now India is accepting of the brown skin. So maybe it's getting different.
India has to accept. 75% of people are brown.
No, but you'll be amazed. We still don't have Indian brands still don't make lipstick makeup for our skin tone. Where I have to mix 2-3 shades of foundation to get mine, and so I try and buy it from out. But coming to the point, it's like people have to understand that you have to be your own cheerleader. Otherwise, it's not going to work. There have been days where I'm also very low key. I'm upset, but I tell myself, Deena, if not now, then when? So I push myself, and then I pitch with other brands, and if sometimes they'll say no. The least they'll say is, no, you're not suitable for
Exactly.
us. But if one door closes, there's another that opens. And I'm also, I've been working with Amazon. I was working with Myntra live shows as well, a live show host. And then right now, I think for the last 5 years, I've been doing Amazon solely. I'm an Amazon live show host, so I do get my income from there. I'm an Amazon tech blogger or reviewer or lifestyle blogger for Amazon. So I don't know if you see those little videos that pop up, review videos. You may be seeing mine when you're buying a phone or a gadget. Next time, maybe a home decor or something. You probably see me there. So I try to see how I can make various income streams. You know, it's like, again, you should find ways. I think because I have the gift of the gab, I'm trying to put it to use.
So I'm just curious, though it's not related to any of this you, me, and finance. How do you get your high, Deena? What is that? What is that gives you the high? Because
the high,
you have seen so much, right? Like
yes.
you were sick, you were temporarily blind, you left your job, you got your website, you did so much. You actually ventured when social media influencers were just budding. You were there already, and you have been here. You've reached out to brands. Now you're working with big brands.
Yes.
You made a name for yourself, all single. You're a solopreneur, if I have to say. You have done so much, right? What is that? How do you get your high even today, right? How do you get it?
Oh, I get that often. I think, I've only slept like 3 hours now, as you know, and I'm still like full of energy. I think I was always like this go-getter. I was always hyper, and I was very timid and shy. But I think losing my parents, I think when my mother died, that was the biggest blow for me.
If I can ask when?
This was in 2013.
Okay.
So yeah, it was the biggest blow for me, you know. I had to switch off the ventilator, but unfortunately I didn't. So that took me 60 days. It took her 53 days. She passed away on her own, but that 53 days, I don't know how to explain it to anyone, you know. I hope I don't cry, but the thing is, the mental strength that I had to switch off a ventilator of a lady who gave birth to me, that was like the biggest turning point. I know before that I had tumor, and I was already struggling with eye blindness, but I think those culminated to make me super strong. And I think I keep telling everybody, you know, there'll be things that will happen, but I think your mind is the biggest, most powerful organ that you can have. And once you tell it to obey you, I mean, it's not your stomach. Don't listen to your. It's always here. This is the main thing that is going to push you through.
Hell or heaven, you make it here.
Yeah, it is here. It's all up
Exactly.
here. You know, it's not only for a knowledge base, but it's the only motivating factor that I keep telling myself every morning when I wake up. I'm like, oh, I'm alive. Now next what? There are so many people who didn't wake up today. So what am I going to do? How am I going to fill that 24 hours? Either I can sulk or I can push forward. Yes, I'm a human. I do things on my own. I try to eat healthy so that I don't fall sick, because I'm my sole breadwinner. So I'm working double hard, you know, but then I also give it time and say 6 to 8 hours of sleep I have to take. Maybe one-off days I do go off, I don't eat on time, but I make sure that I have my 3 meals of the day, and, you know, I don't gym. So I try to focus on how I can stay healthy by eating right, no junk food, things like, because I think you are what you eat also. The energy levels that you get comes from good food, you know, and then you surrounding yourself in good environment. If you do not like someone, walk away. Don't stay there and fight and, you know, be in the same level as them, because that's going to again degrade your your thinking and your mind levels. So you have to always push and keep it at a positive stride. And for once, don't think that somebody is there who's going to come and lift you up and give you that pedestal, or is going to say, oh, I love you. You tell that to yourself.
That's what I wanted to ask. What is one advice you want to give to your fellow women or people, girls and everybody around, right?
Yeah, I think love yourself, be happy with whatever you have in your life, you know. I think each of us is different. We all got born in different places. Now, I can't pretend to say that I want to be the king of England, queen of England, because I'm not born in that family. Mine is this is my path. Maybe I didn't get married. Maybe it's my path. It's my fate. But am I going to cry and say, oh, nobody loves me? No, I'm going to say, what next? What am I going to do? Because life doesn't end just because somebody didn't come in my path, you know. How am I going to drive forward? Maybe somebody will come down the line. You never know. I'm keeping the doors open. Definitely. Never say never.
Yeah.
So one motivation factor I want to give all the young girls who are watching is live for the moment, love yourself, pimples, acne, scars, everything and all. I know now you can easily change your features, but first I think it starts with loving yourself. You know, it takes a lot. Just look yourself in the mirror. For me also, I think in the beginning I used to put post-its everywhere saying you're beautiful, you're attractive. I put all the adjectives there is. Now it's become a habit. It's just the fact that I think over a period of time, like I said, your mental strength is the main thing that matters.
Yeah, definitely, right? Lovely said that a woman or anyone, right? Any individual should love themselves first.
Yes.
And they should be their biggest cheerleader,
Yes.
right? So to just add to that point, right? I want to just tell everyone, just forgive yourself.
Yes.
I strongly believe everybody does mistakes.
Yes.
Right? The biggest strength is forgiving, forgetting,
Yeah.
and moving forward.
Exactly.
And that's where actually a lot of strength lies in an individual.
It does. It does.
And especially for women, right? Like where women always think that we should do everything right or perfect.
Perfect. Because we're taught.
We are taught
Yeah.
like that, and anything imperfection or is always self-criticizing. We are always very hard on
ourselves. And I think even if you see, like right now, I just have to open a magazine or I have to open social media and boom, in your face, some beauty products. Look at this girl,
exactly.
how she changed her features,
And
the hair.
I still don't understand why you need to be looking a certain way or
Yes.
wearing a certain dress or behaving like that. Why is it? Who is
Yeah.
the person who has written that? Right?
Yes.
Like everything. And I think that conditioning,
Yes.
I call it as conditioning,
Exactly.
right? Like right from your birth till you are there is always a conditioning.
Yes.
And women coming out, shackling those conditioning chains, coming out, forgiving, and actually forgiving not only themselves, people around them, right? Because everybody is going to judge them.
Yes.
How they look, what is their age, what did they study, how they speak, and everything.
Yeah.
Coming out and doing something, anything,
Yeah.
is amazing.
It's amazing.
And-
You're taking
and
that step. The risk.
Exactly. Every journey starts with a step,
Yeah.
and we are very thankful for you to be
thank
here,
you.
and amazing knowing your journey, right? And this will be my last question, obviously. How do you handle these trolls, right? Like we just spoke in the break, like I want to know, because so many times, right? Sometimes I want to write, and I really want to write sometimes, and I feel whatever I want to express my opinion, I'm not really ready to hear the comments or
Like coming back. at
coming
you,
back, and somewhere actually it stops me. Though I've done many things in my life, there is some part where I feel I should be very vocal about my opinion in social media.
Yeah.
And I just hold it, right?
Yeah.
With help. Like, how did you overcome that? And I think that is the most difficult part.
Main thing is I'm true to myself. I am myself, and this is my opinion. This is my page. This is my opinion. This is what I do. This is how I live, and I feel very comfortable. So if you are not feeling comfortable, I would suggest you maybe block me or don't see what I'm doing. Don't stalk me. You know, if you're stalking me, means you actually are a fan of mine. You aspire to be me. Is what I take it that way. You know, and I have a lot of these people who are always come back saying, "Don't dress like this. Don't wear this." And I think right now, in the beginning, I was like always like sad, and I used to take it in that way. But then I realized over a period of time, if you see the major celebrities like Kardashians, how they are pulled down every day, they are also women. Women only are pulling them down, you know. And then I realized even on mine, it's the women only who are doing it more than men. And then I realized, why is our own kind doing it? And then I realized probably that negativity stems from trauma from the past, you know, because for me also it took a long time to come out saying that, okay, brown skin is beautiful. I am sexy and with my skin color, even if I'm not fair, you know, and it took a while. And I think that's what I suggest other women also to do is like focus on your own self first. See how you can get better, you know, maybe take up yoga, take up some exercise. If exercise is not your scene, at least do some basic stuff to keep yourself motivated,
Be moving,
healthy.
right?
Yeah.
Be moving.
Be
forward.
moving. Don't rely on if you're married and you're having a bad marriage, or maybe there's some trauma happening inside the household. You know, see what you can get out of that place. Don't stay there. I know most of the women are like, what will society say? I think that's what's stopping many people. If I was to listen to what society said, I think I would also be probably married with some kids, and I don't know what I'll be doing, but lo and behold, mostly, you never know, but that's for another day, you know, maybe another lifetime. But nonetheless, my advice to everybody who's watching, even for the men, like, you know, take every day as it comes, be you, love you, and save, but also have a good time. I save and I keep traveling once a year. pick a
And probably invest
destination,
better.
invest better.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
People should invest better,
Invest better.
in themselves and also their money.
And I think if you're not ready to know how to invest, I think there is no dirt on the internet now. You can really
they can
study.
come to Pickright.
Yeah, they can come to Pickright and they can, or you can DM me saying, Deena, where do I invest? How do I invest? You know, take it slow. I think people assume that first investment means just diving directly into shares, but that's not it. You have you have debt market, you have the equity market. You have to understand, maybe
Yeah.
in layman's term, but for
and if for people who don't understand, Pickright is always there. As
Is
I
there,
said,
yeah.
right? Like they can actually come in. It's one-click investment equity basket.
yeah,
So-
I'm sure you will have enough people to counsel how to go about doing it the right way.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Well,
for
thank you
coming.
so
It's
much for having
fantastic
me.
having you
Thank
here.
you. Thank
and
you.
we look forward for many more collaborations.